Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for Lambgoat and the Moshville Times, and today I am starting off my top 40 albums of 2024 series, and today's video will be counting number 40 up to 31, so there will be 4 separate videos counting down all 40 albums that are in my top list this year. And I have to say, seeing everybody's list so far has been so much fun. I've been picking up so many new albums, so much music that I've missed throughout the year, and it's really interesting to see how albums impact people so differently. But like I said, today I am counting number 40 to 31, so let's get on with it. Okay, so coming in at number 40, the very first entry on my top 40 albums of 2024 this year. This was released on the 19th of April via Indie Recordings, and that's In Vain with Solemn. And this is progressive blackened death metal. Now, this record is a perfect blend between death metal and black metal, but it also has a lot of really cool melodic moments and progressive elements in there as well. So yes, the guitars are incredibly chugging, the solos are incredible, the blast beats are amazing, but there's also quite a lot of rhythmical drumming to this as well. And the vocal style is a mix between guttural growls and clean vocals. But you've also got really cool elements in this, such as trumpets, trombones, cellos, violins, saxophones, with some synth and keyboards thrown into the mix as well. It sounds like a lot, and it is a monster of a record at just over an hour long, but it flows incredibly well. My favourite track off this album is Shadows Flap Their Black Wings, and if you are a fan of the likes of Borne, Amorphous, Enslaved, that kind of progressive blackened death metal sound with a lot of melody to it, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 40, I have In Vain with Solemn. Now, coming in at number 39 is an album that took quite a lot of people by surprise because they weren't expecting me to like this album. But released on the 23rd of August via Napalm Records, I have Nile with The Underworld Awaits Us All. And this is brutal technical death metal with lots of Mesopotamian, ancient Egyptian and Lovecraftian themes. Now, I am really fussy when it comes to my brutal tech death. There's quite a lot of it that I'm not a fan of, but I have been a fan of Nile for years now, especially a lot of their imagery. Now, this record wins the award for the most ridiculously long and insane track title ever, which I refer to as The Four Apes. But believe it or not, that is not my favourite track. My favourite track of this record is To Strike with Secret Fang. The guitar tone, the riffs are insane, but the tone itself is absolutely incredible and the solos are immense. I love everything about this record. It's brutal, it's in your face, but it also has quite a lot of really cool kind of monastic moments, and they're not like choir church moments. They're kind of like cult-like chants, and they're quite eerie and in your face, but the music itself is also incredible, and they have the added touch of falling rocks, which sounds like an ancient temple or pyramid crashing down around you. And the fact that Carl Sanders is in his 60s and he's still producing vocals like this is absolutely unreal. So if you are a fan of the likes of Suffocation, Dying Fetus, Necrophagist, Morbid Angel, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 39, I have Nile with The Underworld Awaits Us All. Okay, so coming in at number 38, this was released way back on the 1st of March via Listenable Records, and that's Devastator with Conjurers of Cruelty. And this is blackened speed thrash metal. I love blackened speed thrash metal. There's just something incredibly dark and enticing about it, but it's so fun to listen to. And this one is right up there with the greats. I love the fact that the guitars are incredibly insane and they just go for it. The riffs and the solos in this are incredible, and it has that very blackened kind of rasping style to the vocals. But as well as it being incredibly heavy, it is ridiculously catchy at the same time. My favourite track of this record is Black Witchery, but if you are a fan of the likes of Wraith, Hellripper, Venom, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 38, I have Devastator with Conjurers of Cruelty. Okay, so coming in at number 37, and it's safe to say that my top 40 albums list has started off strong this year. Released on the 27th of September via Metal Blade Records, I have the Black Dahlia Murder with Servitude, and this is the 10th studio album from the US melodic death metal band. Now, this is the first album to be released since the sad passing of Trevor Strnad, and it also sees the return of Ryan Knight on guitars. And I absolutely loved this record because it's very venomous and it's very heavy, but there's also a lot of passion and emotion behind this record as well, and I particularly love the guitar work in this. The guitar tone and the riffs and the solos are incredible, and they are so powerful, full of energy, but ridiculously impassioned at the same time. And the same goes for the vocal style as well. My favourite track of this record is Utopia Black, and if you are a fan of the likes of At the Gates, Carcass, Darkest Hour, A Legion, that kind of sound, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 37, I have the Black Dahlia Murder with Servitude. Okay, so coming in at number 36, this was released way back on the 19th of January via Century Media Records, and I have Upon Stone with Dead Mother Moon. And this is the debut album from the melodic death metal band. Now again, this falls on the harder, harsher side of the melodic death metal subgenre. Yes, they do incorporate a little bit of synth throughout the entire record, but it does focus on the guitar side of things. This is a very guitar-driven record, so you can expect a lot of really intricate riffs and flying solos, but the blast beats and the bass in this really do set the scene, and the vocal style is so incredibly powerful, that venomous, rasping, fry screaming kind of style. Now there's a lot of really cool elements throughout this entire record, and they also feature Shadows Fall on one of the tracks, and a huge standout moment for me was when they covered one of my favourite Misfits tracks, Dig Up Her Bones. But that is not my favourite track. Despite the fact I absolutely love that track, my favourite track is definitely the title track. So if you are a fan of the likes of At the Gates, the Black Dahlia Murder, or early In Flames, their 90s material, this one is definitely for you. But it has a lot of really huge 90s Gothenburg style sound with their melodic death metal, and it certainly falls on the harsher side of things. But coming in at number 36, I have Upon Stone with Dead Mother Moon. Okay, so coming in at number 35, released back on the 17th of May via Nuclear Blast Records, I have Gatecreeper with Dark Superstition, and this is the third studio album from the US death metal band. Now this is proper old school 90s death metal with a modern approach, and it is so heavy on the groove side of things, it's ridiculous. This is a highly addictive record. The melodies and the harmonies are incredible in this. The vocal style is very rough and it's very raw, very guttural, but it's got kind of like a raw edge to it, and the blast beats again are absolutely insane. But some of these tracks are some of the catchiest tracks that I've heard this year. Huge Bolt Thrower influences throughout this entire record, so if you love Bolt Thrower or Grave, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 35, I have Gatecreeper with Dark Superstition. Okay, so coming in at number 34, released back on the 27th of September, this is an independent self-released record from Ophidian Memory with Carrion Lord, and this is the third studio album from the atmospheric melodic death metal project. Now this is another independently released solo project, and if anybody has followed me on my channel long enough, they'll know that I am a huge supporter of these solo projects, and I absolutely love them. Now this record is incredibly cool because it carries on a conceptual story of this medieval fantasy-like world from the previous two albums, and you've got different factions, you've got different battles, you've got different characters and intrigues, and it's such a cool story, and I honestly do believe that it would make a fantastic video game. So you have all of this really dense atmosphere with lots of synth, lots of orchestration, but it's also very guitar driven. Yes, it has all of what I call the pomp and pageantry with the synths and the orchestration, but it does focus a lot on the guitars, and it's really the guitars that put that emphasis on the atmosphere. And the vocal style is very rough and it's very guttural, but you do have the odd occasion of very soothing ethereal kind of clean vocals that are quite monastic in nature, and it's just such a beautiful record but incredibly hard at the same time. My favourite track of this record is the Mausoleum, and if you are a fan of the likes of Nyctophobia, Duskmorn, or last year's Sulphur Aeon, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 34, I have Ophidian Memory with Carrion Lord. Okay, so coming in at number 33, this was released on the 18th of October via Profound Lore Records, and that's Mother of Graves with the Periapt of Absence. And this is the second studio album from the melodic death doom band from the US. I love melodic death doom metal, and this record is gorgeous. It is so haunting, it is so crushing, but the melodic death metal side of things is also incredibly heavy, but it does create that really eerie, dark ambience. The vocal style is primarily guttural vocals, but on occasion you do have these haunting spoken word moments that really adds to that eerie, gloomy kind of atmosphere. But don't get me wrong, yes, this is incredibly doomy, but it's also very catchy at the same time. And some of the riffs in this record are proper earworms that stay buried in your head. Densely atmospheric, there's something very muscular and grandiose about this record, but it does fall on the heavier side of the melodic death doom subgenre. My favourite track of this record is Apparition, and if you are a fan of the likes of Catatonia, Paradise Lost, November's Doom, or Swallow the Sun, this one is definitely for you. Plus that album artwork is absolutely gorgeous. So if you like your melodic death doom metal, definitely check this one out. But coming in at number 33, I have Mother of Graves, the Periapt of Absence. Okay, coming in at number 32, released on the 7th of June, and this is another independent self-released album, and that's from Borne of Ash with From the Dark They Came, and this is atmospheric melodic death doom metal from the US. Now this band are incredibly cool because they focus their music on the Soulsborne games, so if you think Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, those kind of video games, their concept and their theme surrounds that. So you can expect a lot of grandiosity, a lot of opulence, but ridiculously heavy, devastating death doom metal at the same time. It's very atmospheric, but again, it does fall on the heavier side of things with the added touch of haunting orchestration and melodies. Flying solos everywhere, thunderous drums. It's a good mix between the blast beats and the rhythmical drumming. You've got some really cool bass lines in this as well. And you do have the occasional clean vocal that really does emphasize the atmosphere in this record. But this is a gorgeous, incredibly heavy monster of a record. My favourite track of this record is definitely Chaos Servant. It's so ridiculously catchy. So if you are a fan of the likes of Insomnium, Necrophobic, Dworodelf, that kind of doomy melodic death metal that's very grandiose and in your face, but it's going to completely annihilate you at the same time with a dusting of doom metal in there, based on some of the hardest video games ever, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 32, I have Borne of Ash with From the Dark They Came. Okay, coming in at number 31, and this marks the last entry for this video, released on the 9th of February via 20 Buck Spin, I have Hulder with Verses in Oath. And this is haunting, atmospheric, dark, medieval black metal. This record is incredible. It is so eerie and evil, but it's so raw at the same time. This is a perfect homage to the second wave of black metal. So you do retain a lot of the raw black metal element throughout this, with the tremolo picking, with the incredible blast beats and the harsh ferocity that just goes straight for the jugular. But there's also an incredibly dark element to this, especially with the synth elements and the haunting kind of chants and vocalizations. This is an incredible record. It's a solo project again, and it's just absolutely stunning, but it's going to wipe your face clean off, and it does definitely have that kind of dark medieval aspect to it. My favourite track of this record is definitely Hark in the End. It opens with this really cool synth kind of tune, and the vocalisations are very haunting, very ethereal and floaty, before it kicks right in with the guttural vocals and the shredding and the riffage and the insane blast beats. Loved absolutely everything about this. So if you are a fan of the likes of Gorgoroth, Immortal, Emperor, this one is definitely for you. But coming in at number 31, and the last entry for this video, is Hulder with Verses in Oath. And that's it for my first picks of my top 40 albums of 2024 list. Let me know what you think of the beginning of the list below, and if you have any of your own input or if you want to share your own, please feel free to do so in the comments section. My next video, which will be counting 30 to 21, will be getting released at about this time on Friday, so you'll be getting 2 videos this week. Thank you so much for your support. I cannot wait to see all of your lists, and I can't wait to share more of mine, and I will see you guys on Friday.